the technique called waterboarding, used to simulate drowning, a technique condemned by the military and human rights groups.
Now to Washington and the fight over the president's attorney general nominee, Judge Michael Mukasey. His confirmation looked like a sure thing just a few weeks ago. He was sponsored by a Democratic senator from New York, after all. That was right up until he hedged an answer on torture during his hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and that suddenly put his nomination in doubt. President Bush defended his man today. Our chief White House correspondent David Gregory joins us now from the White House. David, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. And this fight over Mukasey has reignited the fierce debate over torture. Today, the president argued techniques used by U.S. interrogators are lawful and necessary.
If a captured terrorist has information about a plot against our homeland, we need to know what he knows.
The issue standing in the way for Judge Mukasey, the technique called waterboarding, used to simulate drowning, a technique condemned by the military and human rights groups.
I don't know what's involved in the technique. If waterboarding is torture, torture is not constitutional.
That hedge has caused 4 Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee to oppose Mukasey.
Waterboarding is torture, period. Judge Mukasey refuses to say so.
Today, the president argued it's unfair to make Mukasey answer, since he doesn't know what techniques have been used and because it would tip America's hand to the terrorists.
That could help them train their operatives to resist questioning and withhold vital information we need to stop attacks and save lives.
Mukasey's nomination does look increasingly shaky ahead of next week's vote, and if it does fail, the president suggested today that he may not nominate anybody else, leaving him without an attorney general potentially for the rest of his term. Another showdown, another threat to Congress, Brian, amid the vote today by the Senate to pass that children's health insurance bill called S-CHIP. Passing it a second time, the president promises another veto.
And here we go again. David Gregory at the White House, thanks. And now to the campaign for the White House. Senator Hillary Clinton today made perhaps her strongest and most emotional appeal yet to young women voters, referring to her candidacy in terms of a long line of men who have run for the American presidency.